Alright, everyone. It's that time where I need to pull up all the Oscars stuff on the screen. Because, yeah, we're finally getting to that point. People have lost track of the days. Literally, my work colleague was like, I remember the Grammys happened. And I remember the other one. What happened to the Oscars? So thanks, Olympics. You didn't even show them live, you just put it on air delay, and the Super Bowl happened. I think that was the main excuse, but you didn't want to be honest about that. But now, ABC in its penultimate year, at least in America, presenting the 98th Academy Awards. And it's time for us three individuals, nerds, I don't know what you want to call us, try and predict the 24 categories before they then switch it to 25. But again, I don't think that's until we get to YouTube in 2 years' time. Which will just get meta because then we'll be on YouTube talking about YouTube. No. I will go through that pain barrier when we get to it in 2 years' time. But until then, yeah, well, as much as we can say about sort of the state of the race, I might as well mention it here now. WGA's gave us no changes in the predictions and whatever because we got them all perfect. One Battle After Another, Sinners, and 2,000 Meters to Andreevka getting adapted original and documentary screenplay respectively. So yeah, AJ's broken the 100 barrier at 101. Owen's on 94, I'm on 91. So unless we do really bad, all three of, well, AJ can't really go into reverse figure unless we somehow do minus figures. They're getting it massively wrong. All three of us, I think, for only the second time, at least that I've been, at least that I remember, in terms of chronicling these, we're all going to get over 100 predictions correct.
Yeah, we don't generally get into triple digits fairly often because there's always some major curveballs that are thrown, and everything this year just seems so safe. And that's really dangerous when you're trying to predict things.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean it does, but it also doesn't. There's a lot of stuff that's all over the fucking place.
That's why I said it's dangerous because everything seems too good to be true.
And I was gonna say about things will be good as long as we don't really 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 fuck up. I feel like I'm kind of taking more swings than usual today, so we'll see what happens.
Okay.
I feel like there's some stuff that's like I'm going with it easily. Like I'm not even really having to think about it. I'm just going with it because it just feels so obvious. And there's also a lot. I was telling Owen the other day. I don't remember a year we had this many races going on in this many categories.
Especially this late in the season. We're at the Oscars now. It usually is all like completely like taken care of, and now it's not.
Yeah, there's a decent amount of categories that are in like a dead heat, and sometimes between three and not just two.
There is Jesse Buckley, and there's everything else.
Yeah. I'd say the screenplays are pretty solid.
Yeah, I think screenplay and Buckley are locked. I can't say locked. I don't want to say that, but I mean we can't speak in absolutes unless you are a Jesse Buckley fan.
Or you're talking about the first category we're gonna do.
Yeah. So basically,
Yeah, I know.
those of you that are new to sort of this stuff, AJ will run through the nominations as ever, but then I will bump in and basically go what other results we've had from the award season that might give you a clue as to where we're going in terms of the stuff. And thankfully, because of the casting addition, there's a few other additions that I've had to do and a few other ones that I've noticed that might be worth picking up, because previously I've gone like, this category has no precedent, and it's like, no, I've actually recognized that this this award ceremony from one of the guilds is the only clue that we have, so I might as well mention it. So, not that it matters because it's the shorts, but we'll get to that when we get to it.
I'm also gonna say, as just a general thing, that I feel like mine are pretty evenly distributed among movies. I don't have anything like steamrolling, but I also have at least a few of the picture
I have at least three that are blanking right now.
but I've got like 3 or 4 movies that are going to have pretty even distribution amongst them if I happen to be right, which I don't know. We'll have to see. so, so are we starting?
Mm-hmm.
All right. If you're going by the Wikipedia list, I apologize. We are going to be jumping the fuck around. I don't know who does the Wikipedia order, but it's a weird one. We are starting at the bottom with visual effects, though. So we're ready?
Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
For visual effects, we've got Avatar, F1, Jurassic World, The Lost Bus, and Sinners.
On this front, pretty much everything is Avatar, bar the supporting effects for the Visual Effects Society Awards, which went to Sinners. So there's at least something. There is precedent for something else winning that isn't Avatar.
Yeah, unless one of these wants to pull an Ex Machina or something. Uh, I'm I'm just saying Avatar. I don't really feel like there's a need to overthink it, but crazier things have happened.
Yeah, we've got to find an excuse for Cameron to say, oh, he's definitely. The fact that he's flip flopped for the past like 9 months about whether Avatar 4 is happening, even though like half of it's supposedly filmed and whatever. And he's adamant, if the box office didn't do well, and it's like, well, yeah, it's not going to take $1 billion, but I don't think I don't think, you know, Disney was sort of over predicting it to sort of, do the same box office numbers as certainly the first one did. It's going to taper off and whatever. But yeah, just like it was sort of at BAFTA, it's like, look, just acknowledge that Avatar happened and then don't give it anything else.
Well, because it didn't run for picture, thank you, Academy. I didn't have to watch it. I'm not going to. But at the last moment, it is basically this week. Cameron was talking about 4 is pretty much a go for launch at this point. So I guess we'll see if that ends up happening to change his mind down the line. The fact it's going to win an Oscar withstanding, yeah, there's no reason to go with anything else at this point. It's Avatar.
All right, let's go on to sound.
Okay. Got it.
We've got F1, Frankenstein, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Surat.
This is where it gets complicated. So, BAFTA and the CAS Awards, which is the Audio Society, gave it to F1, but then the Golden Reel Awards, which I think is the MPSE, that's where it gets complicated. So dialogue and ADR went to Sinners, along with music underscore. Effects and Foley went to Frankenstein, and foreign, because that's a separate category, did go to Surat. So 4 of the 5 are in here.
And at this rate, I'd really say any of the 5 are possible. I definitely think Sinners is especially possible because music-heavy movies have often played a part in this category, at least as far as what's here. But I'm gonna go, and honestly, I don't think Frankenstein can be underestimated here. Syrah would be a really fun choice, but I'm going with what I guess you would call probably the safest choice, and I'm gonna stick with F1.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going F1 as well. Again, because it's sort of like acknowledge what it's done. Because I feel there's more competition for F1 into editing, but we'll obviously get to that later. Um, Plus, it does sound obvious. Sound half the time does go to sort of just as a blockbuster film as it is. It's sort of it splits every so often with like. I mean, we usually say the war film and whatever, but more often than not, sound does actually go to sort of one that pulls in the people, um, which I feel sometimes the Academy appeasing it when then people go, "Oh, why didn't this win?" It's like, look, it won an award. They can put it on the blooming, the box art for when they re-release it in 4K or whatever. So yeah, I will also be going F1.
There are movies that are nominated for picture that are going to go home empty-handed. Some deserving, some undeserving, depending on who you're talking to. But it's just a fact of life. It really is. Actually, don't you dare. Now, for me, this feels like it's a one-horse race. But when things are seemingly inevitable to be one thing and one thing only, that's when upsets happen. And the first thing I traversed towards was Surat being the outlier here as the surprise winner. Don't see it winning international film, not to reveal my hand early on, but everyone knows what that battle's between. But we'll get there in a little bit. For me, it's always been F1, and I can't see it being anything else.
Okay. Um, so are we going to the shorts now?
I could get a yes.
That was a rhetorical question. We're going to the shorts now.
I had to find them first. We're good.
Let's start with animated short,
Yes.
where we've got Butterfly, Forever Green, The Girl Who Cried Pearls, Retirement Plan, and The Three Sisters. This is a really good lineup.
This is the easy as hell one for me, because
they're all super solid too.
BAFTA was Two Black Boys in Paradise, and then at the Annie Awards, animated short went to Snow Bear, special went to the Snoopy Summer Musical, and the promotional one, because occasionally that does crop up in the Oscars, it was Ollie Pop Yeti. This year, none of that matters because apart from Snow Bear, none of the others got shortlisted, and Snow Bear didn't even make the five. So there we go.
I mean, they could go Forever Green, which is also about a bear. So
True.
So yeah, when I saw the short of the 15 shorts, the only thing I missed was Children No More in documentary. So basically with these, I don't know about you guys, but I just kind of watch them and just kind of go based on that. There's not much else you can do. I know my favorite one is Retirement Plan. I like that we were talking about how they've gotten kind of back in the day we had kind of a lot more comedic ones than we do now.
sure.
But Retirement Plan is quite funny while also being profound, and The Three Sisters is quite funny. So
Three Sisters is absolutely hilarious in places.
yeah, it felt like kind of a return to form there, with Butterfly kind of being the kind of grounded, serious one. That's also quite beautiful in its own right. Well, Forever Green being the it looks like it's gonna be like the more I guess you say almost kid-friendly one, until
Yeah,
it gets pretty serious about its message.
very much so.
um, I'm going to go with The Girl Who Cried Pearls because the animation is so unique and it's a pretty great story with I imagine the ending might be a little controversial.
Sure, for sure.
I love the ending.
Same.
Where the because I saw a little message from the director, and the movie ends with a question that's not answered. But as soon as right before it cut to the end credits, I answered the question in my head without even thinking about it.
Who is
And
Kaiser Soze?
in that little thing, the director said, and whatever you thought the answer was, that's what it is.
hmm It's
So,
ambiguous for a reason.
um, and I think it'd be a really deserving winner too. So I'm gonna go with that
Okay.
because that's all I can do.
Yeah, weirdly, sort of, I don't go with like the story with this one. Um, I am also saying the Girl Who Cried Pearls, but literally because of the art style. I always feel like um, the Academy has sort of a fascination with stop motion because it sort of goes back to the original style of having to do it rather than putting it in a computer sort of deal.
I think I
It's the
think
closest we can get to sort of doing the old actual like sell of acetate sort of screens and then flipping them across, like the flip books and whatever.
I want to say Forever Green was like maybe a combination. I feel like there's stop motion in Forever Green with like other techniques, maybe. I
Yeah, a
don't remember.
little, but again, part of me feels. Uh, some would argue from the way it looks, the Spider Verse films are stop motion because it's obviously sort of purposefully done at a frame rate, so it's sort of trying to reflect more like a comic book sort of style, which I feel sort of that was going for more. With this one, it's sort of like it is with sort of with Wallace and Gromit and whatever. Sometimes you feel like some of the bits you can just okay, it's obviously not done with claymation to a huge extent, but like somehow, well, I mean, sort of akin. I don't think you see thumbprints or anything with all the Leica stuff, but again, it's just the way sort of it looks. It just feels like hands have cared for whatever it is that is on screen, sort of thing. And usually the Academy likes that stuff. So, given that we don't have that option within the main feature stuff this year, I'm thinking that's where it might stand a chance with the other one. Plus, vague endings, I guess, is sort of the way we're going this year.
This one was kind of difficult. And it's hard when you watch something that's fresh in your mind. Unfortunately, it's not fresh in my mind anymore because I watched it feels like forever ago. But all five of these are good in their own way. The only one I didn't like was Butterfly. It's not bad. It's just not my thing. Like AJ has brought up many times, it's just not his thing sometimes when it comes to things too. Um, the Girl Who Cried Pearls would be a solid winner, and I completely understand why you would go that route. I would love to go for Evergreen because I could see there's a year that exists in the Academy in the past that Forever Green could have won and would have won. Don't necessarily think it's this year. And I could say the same with the Three Sisters, which reminded me of, like AJ mentioned, things of the past that we used to love and enjoy, which we haven't had many animated shorts that have been that like jovial and fun in a minute. They're there. It's just harder to find nowadays. All the doom and gloom and everything. So it brought me to the answer I was always going to go with, which is weird because I may eat a point here, and it's possible I will. But, you know, for some odd reason, I just feel that there's so much doom and gloom in the world that they're going to go with something that's jovial and happy. And The Girl Who Cried Pearls, like, goes all across the various gamuts of emotion. It's happy, it's sad in different ways, it's cathartic in ways. But there's one that's just flat out funny. Actually, two of them that are. But for some reason, I want to go The Three Sisters, but I talked myself out of it. So I may regret that on Sunday. I'm going with Retirement Plan, actually.
I'd love to see it.
AJ knows that, and Ashley knows, and anybody that's been following along for the longest time with us knows, I have picked some outstanding winners in the past when it comes to animated short that a lot of people didn't go with. I remember being heavy on Logorama being surprising to win, and a lot of people called me crazy for going with it.
You might be thinking of a different year. I'm pretty sure Logorama was one of those. There was no other choice.
No, it just seemed like it was too out there to be the winner. They wouldn't necessarily go something that outrageous. Yes, they will. So yeah, even though I should be going The Girl Who Cried Pearls, or going with something safe like Forever Green, or going with something that takes me back like The Three Sisters, I'm just going to go Retirement Plan. I can't win the competition anyway. I'm just going to have some fun.
I mean, it'd be the first time, I think, in a few years at least, that animated short would be less than 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's 7 minutes long.
Yeah.
And it was so nice being able to watch something that short.
The Girl Who Cried Pearls or Retirement Plan would be great winners.
I think Three Sisters would be a great winner.
Yeah.
Three Sisters is outright hilarious.
Let's do live action.
Fine. The other category that I actually have a stake in.
Yeah, this is an interesting line. This is a varied lineup.
Yeah.
Which we like to see.
Oh yeah.
We've got Butcher Stain, A Friend of Dorothy, Jane Austen's period drama, The Singers, and Two People Exchanging Saliva.
The only precedent really for this one is Casting Society actually gave theirs to Ado, the Much Ado About Nothing school shooting short, which I think was shortlisted in the 15 but didn't make it to the Academy's 5 at least.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys run into this problem, but the problem I always run into with the live action ones is when I'm watching them, I feel like everyone I'm watching in the moment is going to probably win.
Absolutely. Especially this lineup. This lineup is stellar.
Yeah. Again, I love that we've got a comedy in here with Jane Austen's period drama.
It's such a welcome change because it was the last one that they showed when you watched it theatrically when they did the marathon, and it was like, okay, this is funny. Okay, this is poignant. This is heartwarming. It's like, oh wait a minute, this is just straight up comedy. This is a
It's such a flat out comedy. I'm actually shocked that it's here. Honestly.
And things like that either straight up win or it gets completely forgotten.
I was of two minds about Two People Exchanging Saliva.
I hate that one. I won't lie. That's the only one I didn't dig at all.
My thoughts were either it's one that would be a clear winner in another year.
Correct.
Or it's one that's the choice that's so weird. It's the one that's like, oh, that's inspired that it got nominated. The end.
And you never know what direction they're truly going to go.
Yeah. I see what you mean. What you saw these before I did, and you were telling me about the singers.
Mm-hmm.
You were comparing it to the short that one year where it was like the guy doing karaoke for his wife or something.
That is correct.
And it's just basically a karaoke movie. Like that's what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, but I could see that happening.
I can too.
Um, I like that a friend of Dorothy has a sadness in it, but it's ultimately uplifting
I
about it.
really enjoy A Friend of Dorothy.
Yeah, and has a comedic touch to it to make that sadness into something uplifting.
Absolutely.
Now, what I just said at the beginning about it always feels like the one you're watching in the moment is the one that's going to win.
Sure.
I will say that Butcher Stain was the last one I saw.
Butcher Stain is the second to last one in the marathon.
I'm going to say this. Butcher Stain is the one I'm going with.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the reason or not. All I know is the more it kept going, the more I got the vibe of this. It just feels like a winner to me.
Yeah, I could. It's a very like valid winner too. I really dug Butcher Stain. It hits it the
Yeah.
right ways too, and it's not overbearing in its message.
It's another one that's a little twisty too.
Oh yeah.
Kind of like The Girl Who Cried Pearls is eventually. Not in the same fashion, but just with a short being able to be twisty in the short amount of time it has.
I'm sensing a tiny pattern, maybe.
I actually think Butcher Stain and Girl Who Cried Pearls are about the same length too, like 16 or 17 minutes.
About right.
So yeah, like with pretty much any other live action short year, it could conceivably be any of them.
Yeah.
Honestly, the one that sticks out to me is Jane Austen's period drama because we don't typically have one that's just a flat out comedy.
It's so good too, and it's like the joke is just there floating around, and that's the point, and that's why it works. My theater was rolling watching that movie.
It's like I mean it's basically a parody movie in a sense.
It's what Fackham Hall should have been.
So
Wow.
yeah,
Sorry. We'll talk
yeah,
about that.
it could conceivably be any of these, but I'm going Butcher Stain because that's the vibe I had. But again, I also saw it last, so it might just be one of those.
Fair.
You know those people that don't have opinions; they just agree with whoever they're talking to in the moment. That's
Yes.
that's my relationship with live action short. So
Fair.
Um, this is where I use my British SKU card. I championed it to make it into the five, and like, yeah, partially just because I want to see Miriam Margolyes on the potentially be on the Oscar stage. Whether she's going to be heading out there, I don't know. Um, a woman with a great career that never was at sort of at level to really get the awards recognition, and just playing the role perfect as she does. Yeah, uh, for me, it's just because I, well, I don't think she'll be able to swear on stage because ABC will cut it out. Also, I don't know whether she'll be allowed to speak because it'll probably be Lee as writer and director that will be more likely to be allowed to give a speech and whatever. Um, but yeah, it's what's interesting though is how many of these live action shorts actually showed up at South by Southwest, which we're literally coming up to right now. So I'm now trying to keep an eye on the South by Southwest stuff for this coming year to work out right which of these are going to make it in live action short in 12 months. I need to keep that in mind now because South by Southwest has been a relatively good hitting ground in the last couple of years for predominantly live action shorts. So, but yeah, I am going with A Friend of Dorothy.
I like your answer, Ashley. And if I lose the point to either of you, I'm not going to be upset about it because you're both right, 100%. Really liked Butcher Stain, like the direction it went, like the twists and turns. Loved A Friend of Dorothy. I really enjoyed the singers. I really enjoyed Jane Austen's period drama. It had me rolling in the theater. But sometimes you have to go with things you don't like. And that's what I'm having to do here. Um, Two people exchanging saliva. When I heard the title, I was like, all right, I'm game. What is this? This weird, like, dystopian world where for some reason people like slap each other left and right awkwardly in a department store.
I think the slapping is currency.
It is. That's your currency in this world for some odd reason. And basically, I would basically be put in a box immediately because your breath is pretty much how you get along in life. It's kind of like you have a bouncer at the door and you breathe into their mouth, and then basically it's like no issues. And then sometimes kissing becomes a major problem, which is hilarious for me because I should like this based upon how I am. But you know, it's wacky, it's out there. It seems like everything I don't like about the shorts, and I truly feel like it's going to win just because of that. Two people exchanging saliva is my pick.
And documentary short.
Hey, sight unseen time.
As I said
Thanks,
before,
BAFTA.
I saw 4 out of the 5, so one of these is blind to me, and I hope that doesn't become an issue because that'll kind of piss me off.
Fair.
All the Empty Rooms, Armed Only with a Camera, Children No More, The Devil Is Busy, Perfectly a Strangeness.
Yeah, the only precedent we have here is All the Empty Rooms did get the editing award from the Eddies, or the American, uh, was the Ace Awards, but they call them the Eddies or whatever. But yeah, All the Empty Rooms did win that one.
So we're talking about how there's a lot of heavy stuff in categories like this anymore, and the documentary categories especially is a lot of heavy stuff.
They're rough to watch.
It's the world we're in now, I guess. But I would say all of these are heavy, but there's one that's heavy in a different sense than the other four. Where Perfectly a Strangeness is kind of more existential, whereas the other four are like current events. So that makes me wonder about Perfectly a Strangeness. But I just kept. I actually didn't know the Eddie thing until just now, so that helps me as well. But I just kind of kept, like, every time I look at this list, I immediately gravitated towards All the Empty Rooms, and even just as a concept for a documentary, let alone actually seeing it. It might seem. I can imagine people saying it might feel a bit. It taking on kind of an. I don't want to say exploitation, but that's the word I keep going towards when they're talking to like the siblings and stuff like that. But so there is something kind of approaching that material the way that documentary approaches it. Um, is a pretty profound thing. I'm gonna go ahead and say All the Empty Rooms just because it's the one that I just kind of keep gravitating towards. But yeah, like I said, all of them are heavy in their own way, but Hercules Strangeness kind of stands out in its own way. So I really feel like that's possible, but I'm saying All the Empty Rooms.
I'm going Perfectly a Strangeness. Because it's donkeys. That's the only reason. So far, donkeys have not done me wrong. The donkeys will pull me through. Come on.
It's fair. So yes, as I alluded to earlier, for the second year in a row, BAFTA has prevented me from seeing these because they were only showing one time and one time only at the Enzian during the same time I was watching BAFTA with AJ and Ashley. So it wasn't an option. So these are completely unseen for me. I'm just going with minor information based upon Wiki and the state of the race, which doesn't help me in this category. So I went with what made most sense in my head. All the empty rooms.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that transitions us right to documentary feature.
Yes.
We have the Alabama solution, Come See Me in the Good Light, Cutting Through Rocks, Nobody Against Mr. Nobody Against Putin, and The Perfect Neighbor.
Yeah. On paper, this looks like it would have been competitive if the things that had made it in. So, Gotham's gave it to My Undesirable Friends Part 1 last air in Moscow. My Mum Jane obviously got the PGA. Led Zeppelin, unsurprisingly, got the Audio Society Awards, and then the Golden Reels gave it to Deaf President Now. And then the ones that sort of the major one that's here, WGA, DGA, and Cinematography Guild gave it to 2,000 Meters to Andrivka. But aside from that, Perfect Neighbor took Critics' Choice at their documentary awards back in November, along with the Independent Spirit Award and the Eddie Editing Award. And Mr. Nobody Against Putin got the BAFTA.
So the thing about it is, if there was going to be, because there's two, it feels like we can narrow it down to. Which would have just been, oh, it seems like it's The Perfect Neighbor, but that BAFTA win for Mr. Nobody Against Putin is pretty big. I would say I wouldn't count out the Alabama solution still.
Mm-mm.
So, but even so, I felt like I narrowed it down to Mr. Nobody Against Putin and The Perfect Neighbor. Again, there's been times this season where I bet against The Perfect Neighbor, and every time I did, I regretted it. Then I went for it, went for BAFTA, and regretted it again, but whatever. The only thing that kind of caught me, and I don't really think this matters. I don't think it matters as much as people think, especially with what we're headed towards in the future. As far as like movies getting monopolized and all that, is that I was leading The Perfect Neighbor, and if that were the case, Netflix would conquer the both documentary categories. Which, of course, the words Netflix and documentary kind of go hand in hand, for better or worse. So I guess that's not too weird. So I'm just gonna. The Perfect Neighbor's the safe choice, I guess. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick with that. But there's something crazy could happen here, whatever it may be. I would almost think you would think the one we've heard the least about throughout the season up to this point was Cutting Through Rocks. But sometimes the documentary category can be crazy enough that I wouldn't count it out either.
Well, considering
it's
everything
also,
that's going on right now,
yeah, I was gonna
given
say
that
it's
it's
pretty
about an
harrowing in its own.
Iranian woman and a councilman in a rural village that was trying to sort of buck the trend and go up against the Grand Ayatollah,
Yeah, there's a
it's got the momentum. It's just the case whether people paid attention to it. Uh, if they did actually watch it.
there is a lot of stuff in that movie where it's like if you just like hear news in general, you know what's going on, but there's still something about seeing it with your own eyes. You still almost can't believe this is something that's happening in 2026 or 2025 in this case. But yeah, so honestly, I wouldn't count out anything, but I'm playing it safe and saying The Perfect Neighbor.
Yeah, I'm also going with The Perfect Neighbor, but because I think that something like that, you know, the issue that sort of does come up in terms of the race relations and stuff, and how we have seen that over a number of years. Um, if they want to bring it up as a thing to basically say, okay, you know, the world might be going to crap right now, but also clearly America's going to crap by depicting obviously what they've done here. Because to me, it seems, you know, the argument that is made is like, well, you know, it's a clear cut case, and when it's sort of like the whole thing is like the stand your ground law that's sort of brought up in that. I feel that might be the sort of slightly more pertinent thing to do, considering how disunited the United States currently looks right now. So that's why I'm sticking with Perfect Neighbor on this one. But you know, I could see Mr. Nobody Against Putin. I think would be surprising at this point. But you know, I don't know whether the stuff with Iran would have been in time for the voting, for it to sort of be acknowledged. But yeah, from I haven't seen all of them, but from the word that I have of the ones that I haven't seen, these are all pretty solid, you know, picks if it does win. You know, there's nothing here where I'm like, I don't want that to win.
Yeah, I don't need to elaborate at this point. I feel that there are always surprises in this category. And there's sometimes that it's just been obvious all along. I think this is a year that's just been obvious all along. I'm going with The Perfect Neighbor as well.
All right. You know what hasn't been obvious all along?
Cool. Are we going here already?
International.
Yep. Oh, Lord.
I figured this out last night and my head still hurts.
I was thinking about it most of the day today.
It's a great lineup. We've got It Was Just an Accident, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, Surratt, and The Voice of Henry Job. If you look around, The Secret Agent has done really well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm trying to check. Yeah, Secret Agent took Globe's Critics' Choice and Independent Spirit, and then weirdly it gets split. Gotham gave it to It Was Just an Accident. BAFTA gave it to Sentimental Value, and the Golden Reel Sound Editing gave it to Surratt.
That would make sense.
So it's sort of
But
like, but because like most of the other actual sort of foreign films, certainly I think Secret Agent and It Was Just an Accident were in the sound editing. It was like I felt that was carried enough over that. Yeah, I can mention it twice here.
So, this is when it gets a little complicated. Because I was saying in our I showed my hand from this video a lot when we did our post SAG video. And a discussion that we had was this focus on Brazilian movies in the last couple of years. Because I'm Still Here kind of came in. Because it kind of started with it getting the actress nomination.
Mm-hmm.
And then she like won the Globe, and people were wondering like, oh, is she competition for what we thought was a two-person race in actress last year? You know, however it went. But it also got that picture nomination from out of nowhere and managed to beat Amelia Perez International. Obviously, Amelia Perez had a lot of controversies, and its reputation really went up in flames like the car at the end. And it,
Very true.
but seeing the love that The Secret Agent has gotten now makes me wonder if Amelia Perez would have lost international without the controversies. Despite was Amelia Perez the most nominated movie last year? I think so.
I believe
yeah.
so.
So,
Otherwise, it else needs to be mentioned. So we'll continue.
yeah, if it wasn't, it was up there.
It definitely had double digits, for sure.
So that makes me think there is a very passionate section of the Academy going all in on Brazilian cinema right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was saying The Secret Agent only got 4 nominations compared to Seminal Value's 9, which seems very one-sided, but
until you look at what nominations were for.
For a movie like The Secret Agent, that's a lot of support. And it's not just that, it means it's passionate support.
Oh yeah.
It means the people that got the members of the Academy that got The Secret Agent its picture nomination are probably going all in on it.
Oh yeah.
And if it got that picture nomination, that's a significant group of people. And I'm going to carry that logic through a lot of this video. So, does a movie with 4 nominations have enough passion to beat a movie with 9 nominations? Now, mind you, these aren't just throwaway nominations for sentimental value.
No.
Its entire main cast got nominated. Trier's and director. I think something that really stands out and really shows the passion for sentimental value is that fucking editing nomination.
Editing, of course.
That shows something big for sentimental value. But I cannot bring myself to underestimate how much passion's going to be behind The Secret Agent. You know what I mean?
Yes, Vern, I do.
For the people screaming at the screen right now, there's no reason it wouldn't be sentimental value because of all of its nominations, and then it's clearly a huge player. I tried to say sentimental value, and it just didn't feel right. So I went with The Secret Agent.
Yeah, like, just because of like how dramatic it is, I want it to be Surratt, and if it is, I'll be again, there's nothing here where I'm like, that shouldn't win. They're all really great films.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's going to be history for the first time in a while in that I think we will be seeing a country get back-to-back wins in international feature. I'm going with Brazil's Secret Agent as well.
See, this is the time in predicting that I hate. I don't like going against something that I love. But I also have to think logically. And to piggyback on what you said, AJ, I can confirm directly, as of about 2 hours ago, I had a conversation with one of my coworkers that fully solidified exactly everything you just said about there being I guess you call it Brazilian skew now. And it's everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. Obviously, where I work every day. And I have a coworker that I had the conversation about the secret agent with, and she confirmed 1,000,000% to me, number one, that Wagner Moura is absolutely beloved, and Brazilians will go all in on Brazilian things in every way, shape, and form. They ain't gonna get Best Picture, but still, it'll happen eventually. I can tell you that at this point. I feel like it's probably a guarantee at some point in the next 10 years we're going to see a Brazilian Best Picture at this rate. And I welcome it as long as I enjoy the movie. Hate doing this to some movie I love so much. But it's about predicting. And some movies are going to go home empty-handed. And of course, my biggest folly in the history of this event was American Hustle. Double-digit nominations. It looked like it was going to sweep. It looked like it was going to win. Won absolutely nothing. Sentimental Value took its entire cast to nominations for the most part. Director to nominations. The editing nomination that everybody was kind of like, hey, hey, it's really a player. But it's Brazil. Just Brazil. I love The Secret Agent. I love Sentimental Value. It's one of my favorite movies of the year. Go find it out Thursday. But you can't discount this. And for all the people that are saying it's guaranteed to be Sentimental Value, there's no guarantees in an international feature. Hey, remember when it was just an accident was going to be an awards contender?
I mean, it's here.
It's still there, but it was challenging for a picture nominee when we started this award season.
What you're saying is that
things change.
It's surprising in retrospect that it was just an accident. Has the spot in original screenplay The Secret Agent probably could have.
1,000,000%, I think Secret Agent should have had that spot. But yeah, that's the right answer. I mean, I would go with Sentimental Value because I love the movie, but I can't discount The Secret Agent. It's a great film, and it's got a lot of backing. And I feel that's going to do quite well for itself.
And we're not talking shit, by the way. It was just an accident is great too. Just as far
as say a word, it never came anywhere near here.
Just as far as in retrospect, seeing what The Secret Agent has done, it's surprising because we were talking about it at the time getting a screenplay slot, and now it's surprising in retrospect that it didn't.
Talking back in August and September, I know that was the beginning of everything, but I remember it was just an accident. I had Panahi in director for several months before I had to get rid of that idea. But yeah.
Let's do an easy one that'll take us 10 seconds.
Well, yeah. One thing I do want to mention, because I just did the check. If Brazil did get back-to-back, first time since Denmark in 87 and 88 with Babette's Feast and Pella the Conqueror, where a country would have had back-to-back international feature wins.
All right, let's get animated out of the way.
Yep.
We have Arco, Elio, K-pop Demon Hunters, Little Amelie, and Zootopia 2.
So, it pretty much is a K-pop Demon Hunters sweep. The only outliers are BAFTA, where K-pop Demon Hunters wasn't even eligible. Obviously, it couldn't get independent at the Annie Awards, which did go to Arco. And then sound editing and casting also went to Zootopia. But other than that, K-pop.
It would be nice if there was a year where Little Amelie was like more of a contender. Argo's really nice too. And as like everybody knows at this point, I don't really connect to animated movies, so even with that, I feel like this lineup is fine. But funnily enough, the one I felt like I connected with the least is the one that's gonna run away with this, which is K-pop Demon Hunters.
Yeah, that I am going with it as well, but mainly because it's like it's weird, like how it feels American, but also at the same time very much sort of certainly with the style and presentation, whatever, very much like the anime that we've been wanting to see more in the animated category and sort of get recognition. Yeah, as much as much as I sort of prefer other songs in K-pop Demon Hunter, but we'll discuss that when we get to song and whatever. I just feel sort of as a sort of point where again I feel this is going to prove Del Toro right in that because K-pop Demon Hunters isn't necessarily a kids movie as you look at it. It's sort of like that teen sort of early 20s sort of thing because I feel that's who the K-pop connects with the most and whatever. Maybe I also follow too many VTubers and whatever that have done God knows how many covers of the songs from the thing. Simple, short, yeah, K-pop, I think, that's getting this.
No need to elaborate. K-pop Demon Hunters.
Speaking of, let's do song.
Oh dear God.
We've got Dear Me from who, Ashley?
God damn it, I nearly had it. That, then that, then that.
Close enough. And Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters, I Lied to You from Sinners, Sweet Dreams of Joy from Viva Verde, and Train Dreams from Train Dreams. I've been saying it all season. I Lied to You this shouldn't even be a question, and I Lied to You should be steamrolling this, but for some reason that's not the world we live in.
Well, you say that.
Don't get my hopes up. Don't get my hopes up.
Well, no, because the reason I bring it up is let me just double check in terms of So at the Grammys, because I never noted it down, Golden did win there, and it got Globe's Critics' Choice and what's that one called again? I need to find up because like I found 2 new guilds all to do with music, and it's like, oh wait, more stuff to cover. So the Society of Composers and Lyricists gave Golden the award for comedy musical, but because they also split it into drama documentary, I Lied to You from Sinners did get recognition as well, and then Guild of Music Supervisors also went with I Lied to You. So it's not necessarily a 1-horse race. It pretty much tells you it's a 2-horse race, which I fear is why the Oscars are going doing what they're doing with the presentation this year, and that Golden's getting a stage performance, I Lied to You's getting a stage performance, all the others bugger off.
That's just shameless.
And guess who wasn't happy with that? I can't be asked to pull out the signs because it would just be literally her response would literally be that and nothing else.
I would have loved to have seen Nick Cave perform, but again, that's not the world we live in. This has gone on way too long. It's apparently golden, so we don't piss off the world.
Having seen some of sort of these supposed, anonymous ballots and whatever, which half of them said I didn't watch it, so either I didn't vote or I just put in one because I claimed I'd seen them all. And it's like, I thought we were stopping this. Thanks, Academy, you dumb pieces of shit. I sense I Lied to You could get an upset, depending if the voters actually bothered to it rather than abstained. But yeah, I think whether it's, as I say, I prefer other tracks from K-pop Demon Hunters than Golden. But the semi-sensible thing I think they've done is literally gone that throughout the whole season. You've seen that with previous years where sort of multiple ones. I mean, Sinners had that potential as well, but they sort of also tried to stay focused on I Lied to You being the one that they want everybody to sort of put their support behind. And that tactic, I think, will work out for K-pop here. So yeah, I'm also going Golden.
A lot of voters are parents. They probably have heard this song ad nauseum since the movie first came out, and then when it got re-released with sing-along versions. So it's been drilled into their head to the point that they're about to lose their mind, and they feel like if they vote for it, maybe it'll disappear. So Golden wins.
Let's go right over to score. We've got Begonia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, One Bite After Another, and Sinners. Again, a fantastic lineup.
Excellent lineup.
Yeah, this is again where it's like it's pretty stacked in Sinners' favour. Obviously, getting the Grammy when it was going up against even ones from last year. Was it beat out How to Train Your Dragon, season 2 of Severance, because they just do it for just general visual media. Wicked, as in last year's Wicked,
not the one that everybody liked,
not Part 2, and also The Wild Robot, because it's always sort of in that. It's weird how sometimes score soundtrack sort of overlaps the ceremony sort of years and whatever. But aside from that, the composers and lyricists did acknowledge Train Dreams with the Independent Film Award. And then the music supervisors gave low budget to One of Those Days, mid budget to Marty Supreme, and major budget to Sinners. Then again, with music supervisors, I don't know how much of that is licensed music that's used in the thing, because obviously Marty uses a fair bit of that.
I can't wait for the day Fendrix inevitably wins at some point. I made my comments about Richter and how I felt like people couldn't distinguish On the Nature of Daylight as its own thing, even though it's also him. And that's what got it.
Did you see that same tweet?
What's that?
One of the anonymous people, because they obviously do their write-ups, their best score was Hamnet, and it was like the music piece at the end for that scene was so perfect for the thing. And then literally was like, I was then told it was used in other work, so I guess I should have been told that before I picked it. Because it's like, yep, that isn't part of the original score.
I said when we were predicting the nominations, I fucking said that was gonna happen, right?
Yep.
Absolutely.
But I
multiple times season.
I have seen Hamnet again since then, and there are other moments throughout it where it's like, okay, I get it, but I do still think that's how it got nominated. But also, I'm not big on Frankenstein, but I can dig on that score.
Score's fine.
But I think it's clear that if Goranson has any competition, it's Greenwood, for good reason. And I think a Greenwood win would be great, but honestly, I don't get tired of seeing Goranson win. So, yeah, I'm gonna say this one's probably. Greenwood would be a really interesting surprise, but I am gonna say Goranson here. But I don't think there's a bad choice here.
No, definitely not.
I feel like Greenwood is going to be joining Diane and formerly Roger Deakins and no, not this time. So yeah, I'm also sticking with Goranson for Sinners as well. Although if Hamnet wins and everyone sort of in the interviews is like, that piece that you did at the end for that scene is like perfect, and like, I wrote it 20 years ago. It's been in other movies. It's not part of the score. And
Hey,
then all of a
guys.
sudden the award will get like taken off of him mid-stage, and it'll be like, right, he's ineligible. People voted because they're idiots.
Hey, remember 10 years ago when you all voted for Arrival for a Best Picture nomination? Did the song sound familiar at all? At least, I mean, it's in a number of places, but I mean, you clearly saw Arrival, at least.
This took me a second to figure out. I want Johnny Greenwood to win this. I feel like Johnny Greenwood deserves to win this. I feel like Johnny Greenwood should win this. That's not what's going to happen. And if I'm committed to my predictions without giving anything else away, I don't have a very high score for Sinners. And this was one of the ones I had to go with because this is the one that seemed like one of the bigger locks of the evening when it comes to that movie specifically. I would say if you had to put gun to head, that's one of the ones that I felt was more solid of a prediction than being something that has a wavy effect that could be something else. So I was always going to go with Goranson here.
All right. Let's go to makeup. Wherever it is. There it is. This is when stuff shows up that didn't make it anywhere else. So this is a little fun. We have Frankenstein, Coco, Sinners, The Smashing Machine, and The Ugly Stepsister.
So the fascinating stuff here is it sort of sweeps in the Makeup and Hair Society for Contemporary for both hair and makeup went one battle after another. Period hair and makeup both went to Sinners, and then the special makeup went to Frankenstein, which clearly has to some extent carried over, as I feel it has in multiple years previously. In that makeup is sort of considered more of a special makeup rather than the generic stuff. In that it obviously also took the BAFTA and the Critics' Choice for the category as well.
This is one I didn't even have to think about. I said Frankenstein.
Yeah, same. As much as sort of I'd like it to be something for the actual for the hair or the makeup, the fact that this category has pretty much just become how do we make somebody not look like somebody. This year, this year's contender is Frankenstein for that.
Get used to me saying this for the next several awards. No need to elaborate, Frankenstein.
Speaking of costume design, we've got Avatar for some reason, and then we have Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, and Sinners. Again, I didn't even when we did BAFTA, it was like I feel like it's Frankenstein, and I still feel that way.
Yeah, I mean the precedent. The only precedent we have here is, yeah, Critics' Choice and BAFTA, because in terms of the Costume Designers Guild, period did go to Frankenstein, contemporary went to one battle after another that isn't here, and fantasy sci-fi went to Wicked for Good, which isn't here. So, yeah, I think Frankenstein's getting another award here.
I got burned by Hamnet twice in this category, and probably the next one AJ is going to talk about. Frankenstein.
Speaking of,
Yes.
production design. We don't have an inexplicable one now like Avatar. These all make sense. Actually, no, one of these is interesting, but but it does make sense the more you think about it. Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, and Sinners. Again, the BAFTA conversation. I said Frankenstein then, I say Frankenstein now.
See, I'm looking at this because, yeah, Critics' Choice and BAFTA both went with Frankenstein. And it took period at both the Art Directors Guild and the Set Designers Society. Well, actually, no. Frankenstein was considered fantasy for set designers. Wicked for Good got comedy musical. Hamnet got period at set designers, and then Fantastic Four, which was in the hunt, was the fantasy contender for Art Directors Guild. On contemporary, and the actual, as much as you can say, best picture for production design at the Set Designer Society, they went with One Battle After Another. I want to say that doesn't necessarily mean anything, because I think last year, I'm just double checking in terms of what won. Yeah, last year they went, I think, with Begonia, and that wasn't even... No, not Begonia. I'm trying to remember. Quick. Set Designer Society. Tell me what's happening. Just so I can double check. Because I'm trying to see what precedent they have in terms of, like, actually predicting it right. Yeah, last year's best picture was a complete unknown, which, let me double check, didn't even make that list. So I'm going Frankenstein, but I wouldn't be surprised if One Battle After Another could take it.
I love that. Frankenstein losing would make me happy. Other than my points wouldn't be happy. But again, win both ways. I either win a point or I'm happier because something I'd rather see win. Frankenstein.
All right, let's take a stab at casting.
That's where we're going. Okay, I gotta find it. There it is. Okay.
We got Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, and Sinners. We've been talking a lot about how a lot of these movies have discovered people,
Mm-hmm.
like Hamnet with Jacoby Juve, or One Battle After Another with Chase Infinity, or Miles Caton with Sinners, or the cast of Marty Supreme, um, and the Secret Agents here.
It's
There
very
is that. There is like that one casting guild that went with Sinners. Is that like the only one of those?
Yeah, the only sort of
But
precedent I had in terms of casting is um hang on, let me just double check. Wow, I didn't actually copy that in. Really?
the thing that stood out to me was I believe the secret agent was not at that line, whatever that lineup was.
uh no, because yeah, so with the casting, international, the nominees were Kahuko, Kakuho, sorry, Sound of Falling, and The Fisherman, which The Fisherman won out of that. In low budget, Sorry Baby won. In studio or independent drama, went to Sentimental Value. Studio independent comedy went to Rental Family, and then on the big budget front, uh, casting went to Sinners for drama, and then for comedy went to Jay Kelly. So it won something this year, everybody.
Finally.
Then again, I want to say the Jay Kelly thing doesn't surprise me too much because that's Nina Gold. The person that, like, is. I feel like Nina Gold is the Alexander Desplat of casting. It's like she's going to be either, in a shortlist or making the nominations every year this happens. Just because of how beloved she's been by the industry, because of how long she's been doing it.
And she is here for Hamnet, so
Mm-hmm.
there's that. Well, the thing about it is, you would think with Sinners getting a big win there and its SAG win, that it would be the go-to, and that's actually kind of what I was originally going to base what I was going to say on. So I had basically all but decided Sinners before I started having second thoughts. And I went back to what I was saying before. I hate the fact that I don't know how much people are going to skip around on this, so if I have to keep fucking repeating this, but that the secret agent has to have a lot of passion behind it to get as far as it has already up to this point. So whoever in the voting body got the secret agent into a picture nomination is extremely passionate about it and probably going all in on it.
Mm-hmm.
Add that to the fact that The Secret Agent is a movie that is overflowing with characters.
Oh my god. And Mora plays more than one.
Yeah. And
Technically.
they're all like very specific types of characters. Like I feel like the movie's like 2 hours and 40 minutes and like every scene introduces like 5 more characters.
Absolutely.
Many of which are interacting in bulk. So, based on that, I went ahead and said this will be another one for The Secret Agent. Even though Sinners seems like the obvious choice. But again, we don't really know what they're judging, so it could literally be anything.
Yeah.
We don't know anything about this category.
Again, it's trying to sort of get the aspect of this inaugural one. Is it sort of going to be a sort of a case of, are we predominantly, it's like finding that one actor that's like the one to sort of keep an eye on, or is it sort of the general sort of getting the cast right for the situation? I'm gonna edge on the latter for that one, and I will be saying Sinners. But yes, it's because we sort of have this no precedent and kind of limited, unclear precedent, at least when BAFTA have been doing it the past few years. It's going to be interesting to see whether this sort of becomes, I mean, like how it was introduced at Critics' Choice, the fact that ensemble is now considered casting, at least in Critics' Choice eyes, whether that's what this category will become. Like, sort of, I don't want to say the unofficial best picture, but like that sort of category. That being said, sort of, I feel with some of the casting that they did, even for sort of, the major names that you recognise, like O'Connell and Stonefield and Lindo, and the semi-discovery of Wunmi and the actual discovery of Miles. But even sort of the other sort of side characters that sort of aren't in it as much and whatever, I feel they might sort of go with that this time around. We'll see how it goes in 12 months, but yeah, I will be saying Sinners.
When I looked at my predictions when I was finally done, I did it. I finished them last night after we had our conversation, AJ. I stayed up and finished my predictions directly after we got off the phone. I took into account what you had said, and it started to really ring true in my head. And I thought about Sinners. And don't get me wrong, if you've been following this season with us, you probably think I'm anti-Sinners. I'm not. I'm really not. It's just I'm predicting in my mind what makes sense. I eat crow on Sunday when Sinners wins a bunch of things that I didn't predict. That's just how predictions work. We don't know. I want to go Marty Supreme because I like to see it win something, especially because Penn Jillette being cast in a movie makes me happy. I want to go Hamnet, but I feel Jesse Buckley's its only real opportunity of winning anything. I want to go One Battle because I want to see it win as much as humanly possible. I believe there's a baseball movie a long time ago that when I say that, I literally end that statement with, but I'm not gonna. Brazilian Skew. Casting goes to The Secret Agent.
Did we miss anything, or are we in the Big Ten now?
I'm just double checking.
We are at
double checking where
cinematography
my tick
right now.
marks are on everything. No, we're at the 10.
Okay, we're doing editing before cinematography.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine.
For editing, we've got F1, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sentimental Value, and Sinners. So, back in like the before time, we were talking about we were making the Ford versus Ferrari comparison.
Oh yeah,
we were saying F1.
Of course.
And F1 is definitely the kind of movie that's a threat in this category.
For sure.
It still is.
Absolutely.
I think Sinners is too.
Yeah, definitely.
And then something happened at BAFTA.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as that happened at BAFTA, my brain switched and I was like, oh no, that makes perfect sense actually. So, but not only that, but when you talk about what else One Battle could potentially do throughout the night, editing has often been tied to overall importance.
Absolutely.
Even if, like, you don't even have to win it, but if it's just, like, one thing that comes to mind was how inexplicable it seemed at the time that Green Book got into editing. and then we saw what happened to Green Book. And
Yes.
that's just one example of how much editing has shown its importance throughout the many years. Um, so for multiple reasons, I think one battle makes sense here for editing, and that's what I'm gonna say.
So yeah, the only precedent here is Critics' Choice went with F1. Uh, the Eddie Awards had One Battle After Another get comedy musical, along with BAFTA, and then drama went to Sinners, and the Independent Spirit went to Testament of Anne Lee. So not applicable for this time around. Oh, so it's between Sinners and One Battle. I feel because the guild usually sort of depends which one they sort of favor the most. I'm gonna. I'll say One Battle After Another. I'm that split on whether I think Sinners could take it though. That's the. I mean, watch it be F1 and it's like it just goes full circle. Like
I'm happy sentimental values here. Greatly. I'm happy Marty Supreme's here. I have been all in. If you've been following along in the season, when of course Weapons got not even put in this category, on F1 winning editing, I have been prepared since months ago to say F1's going to win editing at the Oscars. And I was there, and I was there, and I was there, and then BAFTA happened.
goddamn British skew.
The skew thing, it's real. It's real, damn. It's like the curse in the Mummy. If you know, you know. One battle after another.
Okay. Speaking of
This
one
is
battle after another, it's been doing something very interesting.
this category was been the bane of my existence for the last hour of my shift today.
Okay. For cinematography, we got Frankenstein, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Train Dreams. Here's what's going to happen first. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I feel like we're going to take Frankenstein, we're going to take Marty Supreme, and we're going to set them aside and say, have a nice day.
Yeah. Right.
Honestly, in another year, Frankenstein probably would be a threat, but...
Yeah, absolutely.
However, we've got all this shit going on with these three. Here's the thing. Honestly, I would have never even thought to consider One Battle as a contender here. I figured it's just, I mean, it's obviously cinematography's great. Don't get me wrong. But as far as like the win conversation, I would not have even thought about it.
No, there was always one answer for almost the whole time, and then things happened.
And yeah, there's things like, there's the camera movement through the whole, 40-minute thing going on in the middle. You've got the point of view shots over the hills. You've got the skateboard kids silhouetted against the night sky. There's some great shit in there.
Yeah.
And it's stuff like, it's all there. It's, what it looks like as a picture and camera movement. It's all the things that are great about cinematography are going on in this movie. It makes sense when you think about it. But there's a couple other things going on here. So, I was telling Owen something recently that apparently was news to him. And that is how big of a fucking deal the cinematographer for Sinners has been this season. Everybody's been calling her out by name. Everybody's been really singling her out in the conversation of the movie as a whole. And she was on, was it Vogue? She got like a cover shoot.
I guess what
She didn't shoot the cover. She is the cover. It's a photo shoot of her. And obviously Sinners just fucking rocks in this department. And then there's Train Dreams, which everybody could have assumed you would think would run away with this category. We did, however, we did talk about it being the one that's... There's usually one nominee in cinematography where it's like, well, that would be a clear winner in any category, but the movie itself isn't as big of a player, so it's just happy to be here.
Right.
Like The Lighthouse or Snow Falling on Cedars or something. Those kind of nominations.
Sure.
However, when Train Dreams did get its picture nomination, it's like, oh, that's different now. And then Train Dreams has been struggling to win things.
Yeah, unfortunately.
One Battle came out of nowhere and took BAFTA here.
Mm-hmm.
And I would argue that even though it won BAFTA, it came out of nowhere again for the Guild.
Correct.
And
the
thing that I'm probably showing my hand too early here, out of order, but Cinematography Guild and Oscar match up way more often. You know, we're sort of talking like how we sometimes do with trying to think. To some extent, when we've seen it in previous years, obviously when an actor sort of swept through a season sort of thing, cinematography usually carries over. Probably because it's the following week. Because cinematography is weird. They put out their like nominations like in December, but they take 4 months to bloody decide what to win.
So, what's interesting here also, and maybe this doesn't come into play. This is just us going through all the different things. The secret agent conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Where like Brazilian cinema is taking over. There's a big branch of the Academy that is very passionate about all things Brazilian. Guess what?
Mm-hmm.
The cinematographer for Train Dreams is Brazilian.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah.
And the people that didn't know that may have seen Wagner Moura give him his Spirit Award in a very sort of big moment. So I think for just several reasons, it's any one of these three. Despite the fact that it seems like One Battle is taking over, I'm still feeling like this is absolutely between three. So I just had to choose. And obviously I want it. I really would love it. I want badly for Train Dreams to not go home empty-handed. I really need Train Dreams to take something. That being said, I said Sinners. Which might be a lot of people's third option of those three, but I don't know. That's just where I started going, but good God, it could be any one of these three.
Yeah. I want the history to be made with Sinners. But just because of that precedent of how the Cinematography Guild practically nearly always matches up, I'm going to stick with that and have One Battle sort of seemingly come from out of nowhere to get the win.
So I guess this is the time where I get to mention that I got my 10th Best Picture viewing finally on Saturday. And all season Train Dreams eluded me because everyone knows I don't stream, so I had to wait till I got a theatrical viewing. So I got one. And if this was another year, Train Dreams would have never had any competition, and it would have won handily.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one of a few times, I don't want to jinx it, that I'm not going with Brazilian Skew. I'm having to watch Sentimental Value, a movie that I absolutely adore, go home empty-handed. It feels like I'm going to watch Train Dreams do exactly the same. One battle after another.
So, there's a lot of probably long conversations to have about acting, so we can just like blow through these next two, right? Like,
Yes.
no,
Yes.
like there's really no discussion here, right?
Some people think there is, but there's not.
All right. For adapted screenplay,
Crap.
we have
Exactly.
for adapted screenplay we have Begonia, Frankenstein, Hamlet, One Battle After Another, and Train Dreams.
We okay?
I'm saying One Battle After Another.
Yeah. The fact that the only other thing was the Gotham Award, which, even though One Battle After Another was nominated at the Gothams, Pillion still beat it. But other than that, it's literally been PTA's category. So, yeah. I'm hoping that this is the first one presented. In that, yeah, just give PTA an Oscar, goddammit.
I think I would be very happy on Sunday, PTA.
For original, we've got Blue Moon, It Was Just an Accident, Marty Supreme, Sentimental Value, and Sinners. Who's not saying Sinners? Anybody?
Yeah, Sinners for me.
I'm so happy Blue Moon is here. I'm so happy Sentimental Value is here. You'd be a sucker to say anything but Sinners.
All right, here we fucking go.
This has also been an albatross for me this past day.
So, I'm gonna feel very repetitive here because we basically had this. I basically had my end of this conversation in our post SAG video.
So if you watched that already, you basically don't have to listen to AJ at all.
The only thing I was up in the air on was this one.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know how much people if you're watching somebody do a prediction video, I don't know how important it is. I don't know how important it is to you how said people predict. But I have to take a different method with this one.
That's fair.
For supporting actress, we have Elle Fanning for Sentimental Value, Inga Sutherland Lost for Sentimental Value, Amy Madigan for Weapons, Wumi Misaki for Sinners, and Tiana Taylor for One Battle After Another. Here's the deal. The thing with me, if you're new here, is that if I'm really, really passionate about a performance that does have a likelihood to win, I get scared I'm going to jinx things because that's something that happens. So I intentionally do not predict that person in hopes that I'm wrong.
Of course.
So probably my second favorite performance overall of all categories of this year was Amy Madigan in Weapon. So I had a very good SAG night.
Yeah,
if you're wondering who number one is. So out of fear, it's two things actually. It's out of fear of jinxing her, but it's also the BAFTA snub that has me worried that Amy Madigan is vulnerable.
Okay.
So that narrows it down to two. The Sentimental Value women are. It's nice that they're here.
Very much so.
Wumi Misaki comes out of nowhere and gets BAFTA. Tiana Taylor seemed like, mind you, Tiana Taylor does only really have the Globe.
Mm-hmm.
But it just seemed like with momentum with the movie and the way she was in the spotlight, she had strong momentum after that Globe win.
For sure.
To the point that I kind of thought she was going to win BAFTA and SAG and end the race.
Yes.
And she has failed to do both.
Correct.
So, wait, I'm going to lose my voice now. Okay, so... My god, it's fucking gone.
Oh no. Take a shot. Water.
I had some, and I got rid of it before we started. Okay.
I'm sorry.
So, because I'm afraid to say Amy Madigan, because I want her to win so badly, and that I would jinx her if I said so, I got it down to Wumi Misako and Tiana Taylor. Wumi's got BAFTA and a movie that has been really strong since SAG. They got a boost that it really, really needed at SAG. Place.
Mm-hmm.
I have to show my hand in regards to the next category to say what I'm going to say about Tiana Taylor. A part of me feels like One Battle is leaving with an acting. And there is an obvious way, to many people, there is an obvious way to do that in the next category. But I feel like Misako having the BAFTA makes her stronger. And it's interesting to say Sinners would be overperforming if it goes the way I have it written down to go, because a lot of people saw its nominations and they're not really looking at much of anything else, and they're like, oh, Sinners is going to be the big movie. But those of us who have been watching the race are like, it'll might get a couple of things here and there, but One Battle is going to be, the juggernaut or whatever. Not even much of a juggernaut, just win the big shit. Yeah. So I went ahead and wrote down, which makes it official, so I can't take it back. I went with Wumi Misako based on the BAFTA win. But it would not surprise me if Tiana Taylor made a comeback, because One Battle needs an acting win, and I'm going to say what I'm going to say in the next category about Sean Penn. But all of this is just because I'm too afraid to say Amy Madigan, because I really want her to win, and I'm afraid I will jinx her. That's where it's really coming from. So, yeah. If you think that's a legit prediction or not, I don't fucking care. I just want Amy Madigan to win, and I'll try to make the stars align in any way I can.
Owen, what's your line usually when AJ is non-committal?
Oh.
Basically, me or you or both of us make up for the non-committance.
It doesn't matter what AJ says, because unlike a lot of people, we're not cursed. So we can make up for all of this.
Just because of the nature of the role, and that her presence is felt pretty much through the entire movie, even when it comes to the ending, so much so that they're contemplating even doing this Pearl X style, and let's do a prequel.
Yes.
To explain why she became how she became. I'm going with Madigan on this one. But yeah, Warn Me seems an obvious choice as well, and Taylor is sort of fringe but potential. The sentimental value people are like, thanks for coming, which is hard because they're both good performances from Al and Inga. But yeah, I am going to commit to Madigan.
So yeah, I had to eat a lot of crow this season when Wumi Misako became a thing, because I never once went with her at any point. and I wasn't going to because I didn't resonate with that performance. So it's like, no, it's like it was never something that was in my consideration list. BAFTA happened, I could say, oh, it's British skew. Who cares? Doesn't matter. They love Sinners, clearly. But I thought about it. And Tiana Taylor was obviously an option at one point. I love the Ladies of Sentimental Value, but again, thanks for coming. And it just seemed like I was going to go the route that I was going all along. Last year, a horrible year, they made a huge mistake. This year, they make up for it. Horror fans celebrate Amy Madigan, Best Supporting Actress.
I will just also say, as badly as I want it, another thing that pulled me away was her being Weapons' only nomination.
That's something that was floating in the back of my head too. But I feel like that performance is so, I can say it now, iconic in its short amount of time on celluloid that I don't think that matters. I think it makes sense.
All right, let's get nuts.
Yes, very much
just
so.
Want to double check. AJ, you know what Wunmi's doing next, right? After this?
Do I?
I mean, at least according to Wikipedia. Her next film, which I guess by now is probably in post-production because they finished filming before Christmas, is Social Reckoning.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
She's in a Sorkin film. She follows up PTA with Aaron Sorkin. Great success.
Yeah, and then ironically enough, Tim Blake Nelson and Idris Elba are the other movies after that, whenever they are slated to come out.
Excellent. Okay, guys. Again, this is a conversation I already had in our post-SAG video, but we'll have it again. I haven't changed, if you were here for that.
Okay.
We got Benicio del Toro for One Battle After Another, Jacob Elordi for Frankenstein, Delroy Lindo for Sinners, Sean Penn for One Battle After Another, and Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value. Stellar Skateboard himself. How did this get made? Fans have to be out there somewhere. So, for some reason, you would think anything One Battle continuously wins is not a surprise.
No. Until,
as it turns out, on top of cinematography and editing, but editing makes sense. Makes the most sense. Penn getting that magical double of SAG and BAFTA. After this race has been all over the place, starting with Del Toro sweeping the Critics' Awards, more or less. Elordi takes Critics' Choice, Skarsgård takes the Globe, Penn takes SAG and BAFTA, the fifth mystery slot. Ultimately went to Delroy Lindo.
Right.
Which a lot of us were suspicious of whether we really thought it was going to happen or not. It was in the air.
For sure. You called it.
Kind of feeling like it was pushed in by Miles Caton's SAG nomination.
For sure.
And then he's got his veteran status. Everybody came out of the woodwork when he got his nomination saying, whoa, where the hell has this been? This should have happened a long time ago. The Defy Bloods people decided to show up 5 years too fucking late.
Yeah.
So he should have run away with that year. And again, I have to say every time, yes, that was the Chadwick Boseman Anthony Hopkins year. I still think he should have run away with that year. They would have been second and third to him. So, again, you would think SAG and BAFTA means Penn has sealed this. And normally, I wouldn't overthink it. Normally, I would say, oh, he won SAG and BAFTA. That's the end. And again, we were saying, this is something else we talked about before, but I'll say it again in case people weren't here. Um, people might flat out deny, if they don't remember, that at the beginning of this season, for a long time, Sandler for Jay Kelly was at the top of everybody's supporting actor lists.
Right.
And then he fell off completely at about the time One Battle came out. And when One Battle came out, I remember feeling like it had basically been decided Penn was getting his third win. So, taking all this into account, Penn has not shown up at SAG or BAFTA, has made it abundantly clear that he really doesn't care, hasn't cared for a long time. He was smoking at the Globes. He just doesn't care. And again, normally I would say I wouldn't even consider that. He has SAG and BAFTA, that's all you need to know, is what I would typically say. But after seeing the room at SAG, I feel like it might very well play a part, and he has made it clear to voters that he does not care. He's already given his first two Oscars away. So you would think a possibility is they'll fall back on his co-star. And it would be Del Toro. I think I would have had Del Toro much more in my mind if he had won SAG.
For sure.
That seemed very, very likely at the time that Del Toro could have won SAG. I was on my thing about Skarsgård will win BAFTA and then the Oscar despite his SAG snub. And then that didn't happen. So, again, sentimental value is just happy to be here. You could consider a Lordy. I wasn't. So that leaves one option if I've done my math correctly. We were talking about the energy in the room at SAG, which has been telling in a number of situations. Where there's a shift in the room, where something really comes into focus. On top of all the love he got after his nomination, all the people saying this should have happened a long time ago, all the people that have worked with him in the past, and then him speaking for the cast at the end of the night at SAG, when all that love was surrounding Sinners. And what I was saying, all over the place, it felt like things were swirling around Delroy Lindo in a very specific way. So normally I wouldn't go with the person that only has the Oscar nomination to back him up. Especially when one other person has SAG and BAFTA. But after SAG, I'm feeling Delroy Lindo energy. I will not be surprised if it's still Penn. And none of what we said matters. But I'm going to go for a swing and say that Sinners nabs both supporting categories.
I guess I'm joining you, AJ. I mean, the BAFTA situation, I don't want to say it helped, but, you know, that put him more front and centre that he possibly would have been, even if it hadn't have been for sort of the speech at SAG, because I think he would have done that anyway. He'd have been sort of put forward as, like, the guy that they want to sort of do the reading out and whatever. I still think there's a chance that sort of the other person that sort of doesn't have precedent, at least with the major awards, gets in, and Del Toro. But yeah, partially to piss those people off that go, oh well, you just vote what you want to win. Because yeah, I'll reveal my hand now. Del Toro is my number one in my personal predictions. So you'll have to guess the other four when we get to that in a few days. But out of the two, I just think the nicer story slash the standing ovation. I think we'll go to Delroy, and then of course he
And to go
follows it up with a bloody Godzilla versus Kong movie.
and to go on what you said also, despite what I've just said, Penn actually is my favorite of the 5 nominees.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd be thrilled if it was him.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the direction I'm going.
Yeah, that's what I am predicting.
This was a hard conversation to have with myself, trying to go over everything and all the variables. Lordy's never in this, so bye. Shouldn't have been in there in the first place. Del Toro had so much promise until he didn't. And Stellan Skarsgård hit once, never again. I was bound and determined to go with Sean Penn here. He don't care, doesn't matter. He still can win. Still will win. And I thought about it and I was like, Owen, you're not really giving Sinners much credit, and everybody's already going to give you crap anyway for not giving Sinners much credit, because I can see the comments before they form. The fact is like, oh, you're not going with Sinners at all. There's other movies, sorry, and other great performances, no matter how great the performances may be. And I always, just like AJ, was committed that Sinners was going to get an acting win. But what would it be? I was never on the Misaku train, so I wasn't going there. And even SAG didn't sway me on Michael B. Jordan, especially when I took some things in consideration. Both things could easily happen, don't get me wrong. Sinners could overperform without a doubt. It could win double digits on Sunday. I don't think it's going to, but it could. So we floated to this category, which I was dead set on saying Sean Penn. SAG happened. And exactly what AJ said, exactly what Ashley said. There was an aura in that room when he took that stage. So much love all around people that have worked with and not worked with him and will work with him in the future, that it felt like a shift had happened without anything happening at all, but everything happening at the same time. No, I'll reveal my hand. I don't have Sinners winning much. It's not getting double digits. It's not even getting half of that. On my end, at least. But I had to give it an acting win. And like AJ said, who's going to appreciate it the most? Someone who's going to throw it away because it's just another trinket, or someone that's going to treasure it, that basically made his entire career even more worthwhile. I never thought I'd be the one to say this, because I've been so anti-Sinners all season, even though I haven't. But I concur with the panel. Give it to Delroy Lindo.
Best actress is Jessie Buckley. Best actor.
Best actress is Jessie Buckley. Let's go!
All right, we'll do it. We'll do it the official way. Hold on. For actress, we have Jessie Buckley for Hamnet, Rose Byrne for If I'd Legs I'd Kick You, Kate Hudson for Song Song Blue, Renata Renzo for Sentimental Value, and Emma Stone for Begonia. I'm still saying Jessie Buckley.
Jessie Buckley.
Rose Byrne should be a lot more in this. But sadly, she never was. Jessie Buckley. Happy Kate Hudson's here. Happy Renata Renzo's there. Heck, I'm even happy Emma Stone's here. But they're all going to lose to Jessie Buckley.
For
Go see The
one,
Bride.
I've never said this before. I want Andrew Lloyd Webber to be proved right on Sunday. He was one of the very few people during the I'd Do Anything that like actually championed her, because the public really weren't that enamored with her. So it's like, to her, it's sort of somewhat a middle finger to the industry to some extent, that sort of said, oh, you know.
That's her movie now, Ashley.
People who spend too much time online, I think we're trying to take her down with this whole she hates cats thing. I don't know.
What? I did not know about this. You're talking about the musical.
I'm talking about Jessie Buckley, the person.
Yeah. You're talking about She Hates the Musical Cats, right?
No, she hates cats.
I don't care if she's trying to be Tony Storm in The Bride or not. She must go down.
Apparently, she made her husband get rid of his cats before they got together. It was an ultimatum.
No.
I don't think. I mean, I don't think she's gonna lose the Oscar because of that.
The irony
No,
is, though, as
she is
well,
not,
she
but
did
no.
mention how she did audition for the musical Cats as well. The thing that I'm unclear of is whether that's like the stage stuff when she was sort of in her sort of early chances of like trying to, or whether that's her dodging the bullet 6 years ago with Tom Hooper. But then depending on
Especially
how
now.
you've seen the reviews for The Bride, maybe just the bullet came. I can't say the bullet came 6 years later, because she's still going to have a career out of it, but like, you know.
I'll go to bat for The Bride.
So this actor conversation we have to have again.
Jamie Christmas.
Well, to start off with, we've got Chalamet for Marty Supreme, DiCaprio for One Bad After Another, Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon, Michael B. Jordan for Sinners, and Wagner Moura for The Secret Agent. Again, if you were here after SAG, we had this conversation. I feel like a lot of us were on the same page with this conversation, too.
I truly believe we are.
So, we've been saying a lot of stuff about The Secret Agent in this video. If you're just now tuning in or you skipped to this part, I'm tired. We've had this conversation a lot. We think The Secret Agent's gonna do well.
Yes.
We think the Academy loves Brazil right now.
Yes. Very true.
That's the shortened version. So here's the thing. The whole season was Chalamet. Chalamet's winning. Chalamet's already got this. Might as well mail it to Chalamet. Chalamet's got it. It's all over this season of Chalamet. Chalamet's great. Wonderful. Chalamet.
Yes.
And Wagner Moura got the other Globe.
Yes.
So it's like, oh hey, yeah, he's here, all right. But still, you know, Chalamet. It's like Malkovich, and being John Malkovich.
Yes, that's a great comparison.
And then, well, no, SAG didn't happen yet. Robert Aramayo won the BAFTA.
Yes.
And Chalamet had to hide the pain. But it's okay, because some people were saying, hey, it's the BAFTAs, that could happen. But it might not necessarily mean anything. Chalamet will still win SAG. Things will go still according to plan. Because Robert Aramayo otherwise isn't in the conversation. So,
nope.
Because it didn't come out here until like next month. So, then SAG happens. My favorite performance of the whole year, Michael B. Jordan, wins SAG. And oh shit, Best Actor just got really interesting. I think Chalamet's dead. I think Jordan's a thing. Jordan's the thing. Personally, I think that would be fantastic. Personally, I want that. But of course, the conversation we were having was, if people's brains are still programmed to Chalamet, which is very likely because they were very, very programmed. And I'm sure many people genuinely passionate about him. They're going to be over here. Then you've got all your other people going, oh fuck, Jordan. We got this whole Jordan thing going on. This Jordan thing's. I'm feeling this. I'm really liking this. And it's like this cartoon cloud of when things are fighting.
Nice.
And we were talking about Wagner Mora benefiting, and Wagner Mora being the one that's going to pass through the fog. He's going to part the Red Sea and emerge. And honestly, I am all good with still sticking with that theory. I feel like if Wagner Mora was going to win, this is pretty much exactly the way it would have to play out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's up. Again, I can't express enough. I want it to be Jordan so bad. Might be a little bit of that Amy Madigan thing is another reason I'm not saying him. But I'm just really... I'm feeling the Wagner Mora thing. So I'm going with that.
Jordan's winning an Oscar.
Ooh.
I'm saying Wagner Moore.
Okay.
Well, like AJ, my favorite performance of the Best Actor lineup is in this list too. And I would love to say that he would have. Now, we talked about with Delroy Lindo all the love and respect they have for him in the industry. And then I throw you Exhibit C, Ethan Hawke, who also had putovers and continuous love thrown at him the entire season. People would win and they'd be like, oh, let's thank Ethan Hawke. Yes, exactly.
Chalamet and Aramayo both did it.
Exactly. And I would love Ethan Hawke to win this. I'd love DiCaprio to finally get in this conversation, to be quite honest with you. It seems like he's been kind of just chilling.
Makes sense.
Literally, he is the dude after all. Chalamet stuff I can't wrap my head around. I don't think anybody wants it more than Chalamet. Guaranteed. But I feel like he's convinced himself that to the point that even if he didn't want it, he has to want it now because it just plays the character. And I've had this little wonderful friend all season. This is him waving bye-bye to his Oscar chances this year.
I guess
I also am saying
I guess we'll see him in 2 years, because if they give him one for Dune, I'd be surprised.
That's not happening. I will give... Again, I revealed my hand when I said Sinners has to win an acting award. Singular. I also am going with Wagner Mora.
Okay, so there's kind of a conversation to have here, but I kind of feel like not really.
Depends on who you're asking. So a lot of people that are thinking this might be a conversation.
Yeah, well, as far as director goes, we've got Chloe Zhao for Hamnet, Josh Tapti for Marty Supreme, Paul Thomas Anderson one after another, Joachim Trier for Sentimental Value, and Ryan Coogler for Sinners. So after SAG, we had no choice but to at least have the Parasite conversation.
Yeah, of course.
I know people were jumping on it saying, oh, that doesn't automatically make it Parasite and all that. I don't know how many people were actually like really going all in on a Parasite comparison.
Mm-mm.
But if you were to make a Parasite comparison, that's a fun thing to say. You would you'd have to go in on Coogler because that's what Bong did.
Right.
Bong dropped out of the sky and took that directing Oscar from Sam Mendes at the very last second. Mendes had everything, I think.
Yes, he did.
everything major at that point. So there is a universe where Sinners does sweep in and take these last two.
Yeah, for sure.
The last two we're talking about. I think director comes before the leads in the ceremony, I think. But
sounds right.
So yeah, you could say there is a race, regardless of how sealed up it seems to be. That being said, I'm done with swings for this video.
Same.
So I'm saying PTA. So
yeah, PTA for me as well. Short and sweet.
There Will Be Blood, Phantom Thread, my beloved Licorice Pizza. I can finally say after March 15th, Paul Thomas Anderson, Best Director.
And picture. Begonia, F1, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, Sinners, and Train Dreams. This, I think, is more of a race. Honestly.
More of a race than it was before.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Even I'll admit that.
You might say, oh, it's just SAG. Tell
No.
that. Yeah, there's the Parasite conversation. Tell that to Spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
But Crash.
Yeah.
It's very spread out, but there is precedent, and
Of course.
it happens in fives too. Crash was 2005. Spotlight was 2015. Oh shit.
It's 2025. Oh wow, I've never drawn that comparison before.
Yeah, so I am saying there is a race, but I'm still saying One Battle After Another ultimately takes it. But I will be on the edge of my seat before they say it. Which I didn't think was possible up to this point.
This is a great season.
Yeah, I can't believe how many actual races there are.
And I don't outright hate anything in Best Picture either.
What say Ashley for a picture?
Hang on. I was just double checking on that. Did you declare AJ or did you purposefully wait?
I said one battle. I said One Battle After Another.
I revealed my hand. I mean, okay, he's an exec producer, not a producer. But I'm gonna say Sinners.
There is a battle. Unintended. And I'm seeing all of these things that are saying that Sinners is going to win. And Sinners, I mean, even people are saying Coogler's going to win director. I would say, if anything, it'd be a picture director split. Because I feel like no one's taking PTA's Oscar away, no matter if One Battle wins picture or not. And that's how it should be. We've played that game before, and it didn't work out very well for his advantage. This year, of course, it will. For reasons I definitely can't go into right now. You can just, I'll put a pin into that for a couple more months, probably a little bit more than a couple months. I can't see Sinners winning Best Picture. Now, it can. And in my mind, in the back of my head, I can see it happening. But for some reason, I don't see it happening. This is going to be a year where the movie that, again, revealing my hand, my favorite film of the year, cleans up at the Oscars. They didn't spread the love, really. I mean, there's double digits that are not getting anywhere close to that, no matter what you're predicting.
Yeah, I was gonna say you keep saying it's not gonna do double digits. It would have to do something crazy to get double digits.
Exactly. And things can overperform. But things can underperform too. And if you look at my predictions, it did. Which means I could be wrong. We'll find out Sunday. One battle after another. Best picture.
All right, now the only thing left is to see what happens. This is the exciting part.
Yes.
Indeed. I want to say the only... there are a few other names that have been announced. In that, I think Downey Jr. is presenting one of the awards. And we still don't know whether this year we're going back or we're going to have the return of the some of the tech categories having, the 5 people present it. That's sort of not even got mentioned and whatever, so I don't know what's happening with that. However, somebody threw a spanner in the works, and that's the Satellite Awards. Apparently, even though the ceremony was originally pushed to the 28th instead of the 8th, except now they've literally, within the last 30 minutes, announced their winners. And dear God, I'm pleased that we didn't cover them. I'm pleased it was like during the show that I didn't have to mention these, because the International Press Academy, I thought the Globes were weird, or the Critics' Choice. My God. I'll run it through for you guys. Visual effects went to Avatar: Fire and Ass. Sound went to F1. All seems normal so far. Best makeup and hair, Tron Ares. Best original song, Dreamers won from Avatar: Fire and Ass. Score goes to Sinners. Production design, Frankenstein. Costume design, Frankenstein. Editing, One Battle After Another. Cinematography, Train Dreams. International feature, Secret Agent. Documentary, Becoming Led Zeppelin. And then, unsurprisingly, the screenplays are, One Battle After Another and Sinners. Supporting actress they gave to Taylor. Supporting actress to Skarsgård.
Yeah.
They also do the Globes in terms of they split musical, comedy, and drama. And in that respect, they copied the Globes in that Byrne got actress comedy, Chalamet got actor comedy, Buckley got actress drama, and Mora got actor drama. Director they gave to Zhao.
That's not impossible.
For motion picture, they went Elio.
Huh?
Oh, don't worry. It gets better. Well, best motion picture drama, they gave to Hamnet. Okay. Bearing in mind that they classify drama as One Battle After Another and Sinners. So Hamnet apparently managed to beat both of them. Which means, unsurprisingly, because of that, comedy or musical went to Marty Supreme.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Beating out Begonia, Father, Mother, Sister, Brother. Hi, Jim. Nouvelle Vogue, Novocaine, and Sorry Baby. But, so the fact that there was animated as Elio is but nobody's. What the hell is going on?
That's one of 2 nominees I watched theatrically. I saw Elio.
Well, I'd say we're done here, right?
Yeah. So yeah, that is our predictions. Now it gets fun in less than 48 hours if you're watching live. I'll let you elaborate, Owen.
We are back here Thursday night at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with a live chat to do if we picked the big 8 categories of the Oscars. We're going to give our winners, we're going to give our nominees, we're going to give our honorable mentions, and you're going to get to find out on that way what we picked for our top 10s of the year. I made a top 10 of worst. I don't know if AJ and Ashley are going to follow suit or not, but I mean, I have mine, so I don't know if they're going to. They don't have to order them if they don't want to, but I can throw that out there.
Just do one dishonorable mention.
Okay. So all that 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with a live chat, which means you can give your thoughts, comments, and opinions on our lineups. And again, disclaimer: these are our lineups. Some of them may or may not make sense to you. It does not matter. It is literally our predictions, what we want to win. We have obviously been very upfront this whole season about what we like and what we don't like, and we get to put them over. Movies that didn't necessarily get enough credit this season, or movies that are continuing to get patted on the back for the remainder of this week. It'll be a fun time. We'll be back here after that later in the month for our monthly QA. So we'll do another hangout show at the end of this month, and we'll start doing them twice a month moving forward. And then, of course, we kick back off in August when I disappear back out in the fog to start this all up again with the top 8 categories like we always do. And, of course, this Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will go live one last time with a live chat to discuss the wrap-up of the season. And 2019 retrospective coming very soon as well.
09.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking with my heart instead of my head. My apologies. Anyway, that being said, watch movies. So many great ones out there right now. And stream water parks. You need to. Obviously, they need to be a lot more over than they truly are because they're touring right now. So, yeah, do that. Always remember to have the best day ever. It is the season after all. And in the meantime, we want to thank you guys and girls out there for watching. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.